The Dapp Platform Wars continues. Very exciting stuff. EOS launched. As you all know, my metrics, my filters, has it launched? Is it decentralized? And if so, we look at the adoption rate. EOS finally launched. I thought it was decentralized. 21 block producers sounds like, okay, I guess that's decentralized. Remember that decentralized is not black and white. It's a range, different parts of ecosystems. Some part can be centralized, another part decentralized. It's a moving target. Some things become more centralized, some more decentralized over time. And for me, though, I don't invest unless it's decentralized because that, for me, is something I'm interested in. Investment and business-wise, I've always made the most money when I bet on decentralization. That's what this cryptocurrency revolution is all about for me. So that's what I invest in. So, if you don't care about that, then this point doesn't matter to you. But for me, I am concerned that Block One taking over voting, they have enough tokens to take over the voting so they can choose all the block producers. And to explain why this matters is, someone said, Vitalik Buterin of Ethereum, he's a god, it's centralized because of him. Well, if the government came to Vitalik Buterin and put a gun to his head to write a code to make something happen, he said he would write it. And then he'd put it out there, and he has no control over whatever 10,000 nodes installing said software. And that, to me, is what it comes down to. That's decentralized. And we could debate how decentralized Ethereum is forever. But compare that to now with Block One, the government says, hey, you better install this code, with a gun to Dan Larimer's head. He, too, will write that code, I would guess. He's going to give it to the block producers. And if they don't agree, he can vote to find one. So he sort of has the ability to control what happens. Now, and again with this, I have an open mind here. I want everybody to succeed. If EOS becomes decentralized in the future, that's fine. But at this point, this bothered me. And there's one more thing I found too, which made me feel like this is not that decentralized. So they've had a lot of issues. Now another point is, well, I'll get to it in a minute about the scaling, like that it's fast, it's free, they have scaling issues too. But one of the issues was the cost of an account. So Dan Larimer came up with this idea here, or I don't know who came up with this idea. But anyways, Dan Larimer wrote this. This essay I'm linking to here. I'll put the link in the description. Block One is building a free hardware wallet, and they will be able to offer a free EOS account to users of this wallet. So one of the issues with EOS is it's expensive to set up accounts. And for some business ideas, it's like, oh, I want to give everybody a wallet, and they just give wallets away. Now you're going to spend a lot of money to do that. And so now Block One says, well, we're going to create one wallet, and that one will be free, and you can set up accounts free. So this is another form of centralization now that all the apps are running on the same wallet that is controlled by the same company that has control over all the block producers. So listen, I don't know that they're going to use their centralized power for evil. I am not saying they are, in fact, and I don't have anything against centralization. I think Google is a wonderful company. It's centralized, right? There's plenty, I'm not anti-centralization, nor do I think this makes it evil. But as far as me investing, I'm going to wait to see that this qualifies for my feeling of whether it's decentralized. And at the end of the day, sometimes it comes down to a feeling. Use all your facts, and then you say, yeah, it's decentralized enough. And it's important to look at the direction it's moving. So, what concerns me is that EOS launched, it's like, okay, it's decentralized, I sort of thought, and it sort of is almost rapidly, it's only been a few months, making changes, which is centralizing it. So that also is a problem for me. Again, I'm not saying the token is going to lose value, or that this project won't be able to create value, or that the investors won't make lots of money. It's just not something I'm going to participate in because I like the decentralization. Now, as far as it, it launched, how's the adoption rate? That's what I thought I was going to research because I thought the decentralization issue was not an issue. But this is Everpedia, which is a copy of Wikipedia, and then they were going to build on it as the plan. And he's like, the Everpedia team says, not everything's really ready on EOS. Scaling solutions are being worked on. It was the impression that we got before EOS launched is this thing, whatever, 100,000 transactions per second, easy to scale, and everything's free. Turns out it's not free, and they have scaling issues. Scaling solutions are being worked on, storage, RAM, bandwidth cost. Things need to be improved and economics worked out. So I'm not saying they're not going to work them out. We saw this issue. RAM prices shot up. Dan introduced a thing with trading and RAM, and whatever they did something, and RAM costs have come down. I don't know. Good. So there was a problem. They fixed it. I'm not saying they can't fix things, but they are. There's a lot of things going on, and you're going to need to do scaling, and it's not. I don't know. I was expecting it to be a little the way it was explained. I thought it would be less. There would be less scaling issues. Now, and a lot of this stuff. So, and also in my efforts to really understand what is EOS, like wasn't able to wrap my head around it before. Now I got it. And listen, I know, and there's a lot of people who are so into and have studied EOS. Okay, and I am a little bit of a newbie on it, so I'm going to make mistakes. I'm trying to learn here. One of the reasons I want to get this video out, I want to get feedback to see where I'm at, So I want to hear your feedback. And yes, I will make mistakes, and I'll learn if you, instead of only calling me an idiot, actually tell me what it is that you know that I don't. I'll learn from that, and then maybe I won't be an idiot in the next video, right? So this here, well, my understanding of EOS is it's another proof-of-stake system. And that's sort of I think that's the next exciting wave, is these blockchains run on proof of stake. I think it's coming, and I'm going to talk in a minute about Ethereum and Cardano and Cosmos, which are really all proof of stake blockchain dApps is where we're going here. And EOS is one, you stake your EOS, and that's what's used sort of to run the system. And I know people are going to beat me up about this explanation, but anyways, what I'm seeing a lot of now. Keep in mind, this thing has only been launched like a month and a half. Wait, June, July. Okay, 2.5 months. It's been up, and already so many proposals and changes, and that's cool. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, and like that's how we roll, baby. Shit happens. You make changes on the fly. I'm all for that. Cardano is on the opposite extreme, I think, to a problem, which is, research academia for 40 years before you launch. Oh, God, there I go exaggerating. People are going to beat me up. But if Cardano wants the ultimate in academic research and they complain about those who just launch and figure out on the fly, EOS really is the opposite. So I am sort of concerned with there being so many new proposals being floated. And my point being, when it comes to proof of stake, and I don't want to skip ahead, but I do want to talk about, well, okay, Ethereum, moving to proof of stake. Proof of stake is something that's been researched for many years. Vitalik got into it 2014. Standing on the shoulders of those before him, and they've been working on this for years and testing and with math proofs. And I think, and I would hope, when they launch proof of stake, something I think is launching before the end of the year, they're going to test it, and it's not going to be so many changes so quickly. I'm sure they're going to work out. There's going to be some issues to work out, but I feel like the amount of stuff that is being changed pretty drastically on the fly with EOS, I think shows that, there wasn't as much research put in. Again, I love learning on the ground, learning by results. And maybe EOS kills their system, because it was built based on results and not on theory. I'm not even saying it doesn't work, but I want to see the thing settle down a little bit. So what was my point here? Why did I link to this? Shoot. Shoot, there was something here. We propose RAM trading. Well, I guess it's the point that I did want to make is this is just a whole new. There's a lot of brand new proposals that are sort of last minute, and I'm going to keep moving here. I didn't make good enough notes on why I put this link in here. Okay, next. Speaking of proof of stake, for those who missed the battle royale on Twitter, Charles Hoskinson against Vitalik Buterin. And this is just hilarious to me to see these two, you know, listen, when it comes to these systems, I think both Charles Hoskinson and Vitalik Buterin are rather knowledgeable. Way over my head, okay, as far as determining, when I read if 1F is the average block time, if delta is greater than or equal 1F times ln2, then all this, what? I don't think there's a lot of people who can analyze who's right, Vitalik or Charles Buterin. Sorry, Vitalik Buterin or Charles Hoskinson. Hard to know who's right. If I had a guess, I'd say both systems probably work. Both launch, have some issues, they work out the bugs, and eventually it works. That's my bet. The big question that no one's talking about in this battle between Vitalik and Charles is, when are you launching? It's not about being the best. Bitcoin technology, people say, well, now we know after 10 years, well, maybe if I was Satoshi, I would do this and I would do that and I would have done this back in 2008, knowing what I know now. Well, okay, but it's too late. I've been out there for 10 years. That's what we have. For being first to market, and sometimes there's advantages not being first because you learn from it, whatever. But these arguments don't matter if you don't launch. So I know I'm just concerned. That's sort of my thing with Cardano. I don't think they're stupid people. Okay, very knowledgeable, very smart, but I think their process is going to be too slow to get to launches. And so with this whole argument, I'm sure that Charles Hoskinson and team and friends have come up with a decent way to do proof of stake. I would imagine. And if they forgot something, they'll fix it. And Vitalik and Vlad and friends, Vlad Zamfir and friends. Did I also, I wanted to show, well, there was a paper, Vlad Zamfir, talking about the history of Casper. These things have been worked on for years, this proof of stake system. I think they're all doing okay, but things have to launch. And if someone has a big head start on launching, Cardano's not even, it's not decentralized yet. And then there's proof of stake. When is it launching? I haven't seen that anywhere. And okay, that's another thing. I'll get beat up now from all the Cardano people telling me exactly when it's launching and it's in 2 weeks. Thank you if that is the case. Listen, I'm not doing this to brag about being right. I'm trying to learn here. If I'm wrong, I love to know about it. Change my opinions. I want to make money, not be right. You make money by being right, but if I'm wrong now, I want to know it. Okay. So then the other proof of stake thing that's coming that's kind of cool, I think, is this the Cosmos. And they say they're launching in the 4th quarter. We'll see. What this is, I believe, and maybe this is an attempt to diagram it. I don't know what this thing is here. No, is that they have a consensus algorithm that allows you to plug in a blockchain. And it allows you to make very specific blockchains. So the idea being, because remember, with all of these, the issue is scaling. And so their idea, and each application, each Dapp has very different specific needs. So rather than having one general blockchain, you have this general consensus mechanism. And again, with this, I'm probably getting things wrong. Let me know where. Love to learn. but you've got the general consensus algorithm and then specific blockchains that plug into it. And you could make a blockchain that's very specific. So if you're building an app that's going to have a ton of, it's like a Twitter app, then you're going to want certain features in your blockchain. And so you make a blockchain specific for that task and plug it into the engine. And then someone else wants to make a dApp for video, whatever, something that requires a lot of different needs with the technology. That creates a different blockchain, and that plugs into the same consensus algorithm engine. I like that from Binance, what's his name, CZ or whatever. This must be a smart guy doing well with Binance, and I just thought it was interesting the way he said he doesn't believe in Ethereum or EOS. He thinks Cosmos will be much easier to scale. I like that it's different than the Ethereum or EOS model, because that's another reason I don't like Cardano. And again, I'm gonna get killed by the Cardano people, but I think it's sort of they're trying to be they're very similar structure to Ethereum. People get mad, I understand. It's different if you get into it's certainly different than Ethereum, but Cardano, I think they're more similar than Cosmos and EOS. My thing when it comes to being similar, my question I ask is, could they copy it? Let's say Cardano comes out with something and it's amazing in Ethereum. Vitalik never thought of it. You can't believe it. I think within a year they can copy and plug that in. Okay? That's my guess. People get mad at me and say I'm wrong, but whatever. If EOS can do something amazing, Ethereum is not going to copy them. There's no way they're going to 21 block producers. And I think with what's going on in Cosmos, also, if it's amazing, I don't think Ethereum can copy that. That's because the structure, the base layer itself is just completely different. Even with Cardano, if it turns out that Hoskinson's proof of stake is way better than Vitalik's, so they copy it and plug it into Ethereum. I understand it's not that easy, but thank you. These are my opinions. These are my thoughts. Let me know yours. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. I want to talk about the price just a little bit. I love Ethereum price getting killed. I think the reason is because, it was a platform for a lot of shit coins. Shit coins are getting killed. A lot of projects, people raised money in Ether, probably holding on to a bunch. Everybody's panicking right now. I still like Ethereum long term, but, it's a longer term story. I think Bitcoin is here now. I think Stellar looks like it's about to run. I think Bitcoin and Stellar are here and now things launching that I think make a difference. Ethereum, we still have a lot of work, some infrastructure to go. Love it in the long run, but right now with shitcoins getting killed, Ethereum is coming down with it right now. So we'll see what happens. I might be picking the bottom right now. I mean, it's come down a lot, but I'm not bailing on it. Hodling my ass off. Thank you. This time, buy is for real.